New Thought Media Network and the Universal Joy Center are proud to bring you The Joy Show. One voice, one story, infinite inspiration. Join your host, Barbara Jean, every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time or 1 p.m. Mountain Time. Tune in live or watch anytime on youtube.com/@UJOYC. The Joy Show with Barbara Jean. The perfect way to get inspired on Friday afternoons. Only on New Thought Media Network. And please like, share, and subscribe. And now, let's join Barbara Jean on The Joy Show.
Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to The Joy Show, where joy means just one you. So one voice, one story, infinite inspiration, because there's never been and never will be another you. Let us begin with our land acknowledgement. In the spirit of reconciliation and peace, we are grateful for the opportunity to meet on these sacred lands. We thank the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years. We recognize our oneness, we realize our history, and we choose to create a new reality. We are one. Miigwech. Well, I'm Barbara Jean, your host, and today's episode is quiet, spacious, and powerful. And it's called The Silent One Within Us. This is not a loud topic. It doesn't shout, doesn't argue, it doesn't perform. It whispers. It waits. It knows. So if you can, take a deep breath. Let your shoulders soften and become fully present here. Now I want you to ask yourself a question. When was the last time you listened to the quiet wisdom within you? At the center of you is a presence that does not struggle, panic, or doubt. There is an ancient teaching found in the Upanishads that says the silent one, the knower, ever resting in us, not above, not separate from, but in us. And another declaration, which I believe came from the Bible, and that was, I will work, and who shall hinder it? So there's different traditions, different languages, but one truth. And at the center of you, not the personality, not the history, not your fears, there is a presence that does not struggle, does not panic, and does not doubt. It simply is. Yeah. Not passive, not absent, but absolutely powerful. The Science of Mind says something radical, and that is that the power we seek is not outside of us. Guidance is not imported. Peace is not manufactured. It is already installed at the core of our being. Not something we earn, not something we prove, and not something we become worthy of. Something we uncover. So there's a difference between the outer self and the silent one. The silent one does not become peaceful. It is peace. So what you probably know is that most of us live on the surface of ourselves. We live as the thinker, the worrier, the fixer, the one trying to control outcomes. Guilty. But beneath that activity is what mystics call the witness, or the knower, the indwelling presence, the divine self, Christ consciousness, pure awareness. Different names, same reality. Yeah. You see, there's only one thing. Now there's numerous paths to get to that one. But that doesn't change the fact that there is only one power, in the universe. So here's the key. The silent one does not become peaceful. It is peace. It doesn't become wise. It is wisdom. It does not become powerful. It is power. The noise belongs to the surface mind. The stillness belongs to the core. So when we look at our lives and we look at the experience that we're currently living, and sometimes we might feel a bit powerless, right? Looking what's happened in our world over the last, 6 or 7 years and all the changes that have occurred, we might feel a little powerless. But the minute we turn within, that's when we acknowledge that there really is only one power, and it resides right here where I am, right there where you are. And the minute we turn to that, that's when we remember that we are powerful. Powerful beings. Beyond our wildest imaginings, we are powerful. So learning this is, for some of us, it can seem a little bit like, I don't know about that. And then for others, it's like, yeah, it just lands. It feels right. I know for me, when I first heard it, it really felt right. That there's something within me that is absolute. Never been touched, never been harmed. So we're seeking guidance, and the guidance rarely arrives as noise. Rather, it arrives as knowing. Knowing, yes. So let me just share something simple. Have you ever been in a situation where everything in you was spinning? Fear, uncertainty, pressure, and suddenly there was a moment of stillness. Not because the situation changed, but because something deeper in you stepped forward. Maybe a clear decision appeared. Maybe you knew exactly what to say. Maybe you felt calm when panic would have been expected. That wasn't your personality getting smarter in 5 seconds. That was the silent one surfacing. And I do have an example of this. Years ago, I was speaking at one of the centers here in Toronto, and my talk that day was on grace. So I spent the week pondering that, thinking about that, trying to create my talk for the Sunday. But there was a problem. For whatever reason, nothing stuck. I sat, when I walked into the church that day, when I walked into that center, I had no idea what I was going to speak about. And I was pretty sure they would never have me back, because if you just stand there with your mouth hanging open, who's gonna call you back? But it was one of those things that it's like, now what do I do? And I was a little bit nervous, to say the least. So when I got up to do the opening invocation, I, of course, prayed for grace. The time rolled around for me to get up to the podium and speak. I still had nothing. And I thought, what am I going to do? I'm going to stand at the podium and say nothing for the next 20 minutes? And I got to the podium and I looked out at the crowd, and boom, that silent witness stepped forward, and I had a great message to present. How does that happen? Well, we don't know the how of it, and we don't need to know the how of it. We just need to come to a place where we acknowledge that there is something more going on than what we can see, touch, and feel. Right? So the deepest guidance in your life rarely arrives as noise. It arrives as knowing. Not loud, not dramatic, just undeniable. Now, the ideas for this talk came out of the book Living the Science of Mind by Ernest Holmes. And I just wanted to share with you his exact words. He says, and it's on page 114 for anyone who has the book, this supreme being is at the center of each one of us. To it, we may come for guidance, and from it, we may draw both inspiration and the power to live, stand, walk, or sit. Every act is an outcome of consciousness. Every movement is within the divine being. And since the divine being is everywhere, it must also be at the center of our own life. It is not only at the center of your own life or our own life, it is that center. Hence, to think of it as the very essence of our own being is clear thinking. To know that its being is our being is right knowing. And to declare that its life is our life is to permit its power to flow through us. Great words. The power is within us, and we can allow it to flow through us, which means that whatever we're looking for, we actually can find it, we can have it. So you don't have to create connection with the divine. You only have to stop ignoring it. Yeah, because we do that, don't we? Sometimes a message comes and we go, I don't like that one. Let me turn to another page. Let me think about something else. You ever do that? I know I have. I get a message and it's like, now that one feels uncomfortable, so let me just think of something else to do first. So we're on this journey, but we're not particularly listening. And I don't know how many of you have a meditation practice, but if you don't, you might want to consider having one. The time we spend in silence is very, very rich and quite transformative. A number of years ago, I did a Vipassana meditation retreat for 10 days, and it's a silent retreat. And in that retreat, it was something that when you go there, they ask you to observe noble silence. And what they mean by that is you're not meant to look at another person. You cannot touch another person. You are meant to be in your own little bubble for the 10 days that you're there. No singing, no dancing, no workouts. Yeah. No writing, no reading, no music, no phones, no computers, no distractions. And what happens in that 10 days is, you come to the surface. You start to see yourself in a very new way, and it's very profound. And it's incredibly powerful, incredibly powerful. It's one of those things where you begin to look at life in a brand new way once you come through that. It's not something that you go, oh, well, that was a nice little vacation. No, it's not like that at all. You spend your time in meditation and you're alone the whole time. Now, I did say you couldn't do a workout. That doesn't mean you can't go for a little walk. You can do that. But it's very, very strict in that regard. And at the same time, incredibly powerful because we live in a very noisy world. All right. So, You don't have to create connection with the divine. You only have to stop ignoring it. And the thing is, the more that we listen to it, the louder it gets, right? The more obvious it becomes because its being is our being. The teaching that we're sharing here, the science mind teaching and any that are similar to it, to think of it as the very essence of our own being is clear thinking. To know that its being is our being is right knowing. So this incredible, divine, powerful universe is being us. Yeah. So this dissolves the idea that God or spirit or the divine is somewhere else. It's not watching you from afar. It's not judging you at all. It's not withholding help. But rather it is living as the very core of you. Not your ego self. Not your conditioning. We all have some of that. Definitely not your story. It is your essence. So here's the liberating part. You don't have to create connection. You only have to stop ignoring it. Silence is not empty. Silence is where the presence becomes notable. Eckhart Tolle wrote a book called Stillness Speaks. And it is a powerful little book. What I like most is the audio book of this one. I normally like to read them better, but the audio is so great because he takes you into that silence. And it's powerful and it's beautiful. It's a really remarkable program. So if you haven't listened to it or you don't know about it, check it out. Stillness Speaks, the audio version, so you can hear him lead you through those processes. So silence, that's where we notice presence. That's where we notice the divine. So each one of us comes into this life experience perfect, whole, and complete. Each and every one of us made unique and special. You see, there aren't just a handful of special people. There are special people everywhere you look because every single person is special. Yeah. Every single person, unique and special. See, when we get that, it really helps us to see that even though we may have had a very difficult experience in our life, the essence of us has never been touched by any of it. Not in the least. It is still perfect, whole, and complete. It absolutely knows itself, and it's absolutely fine. Now, the physical aspect of us and the personality of us and the ego of us might view it a little differently. We might look at it and go, oh, that's terrible, awful. Is it really? Or is that just our determination based on what we want or don't want in our life experience? Yeah. So we're all on this path. We're all on this path. And regardless of where we are on the path, we're all on it. And all of us are here for a time. Now, we don't know how much time that is. We just know we're here for a time. But at some point in time, we will know. We will know if it's time to leave. We'll know if it's time to stay. We will know because all of that knowledge resides within us. It's not separate from, it is right here. So I want you to just take a nice breath. Just a gentle one. And if you're comfortable, close your eyes or soften your gaze. And take a slow breath in and let it fall out naturally. Let's do that again. A nice slow breath in and a nice gentle letting go. Now imagine that you're dropping beneath the surface of your thoughts. It's a little like sinking into water. You don't have to stop thinking, just stop following the thoughts. So beneath those thoughts, there's awareness. Beneath the noise, there is presence. So ask yourself silently, what in me is aware right now? Don't answer with words, just notice. Awareness is not anxious. It's not rushed. It's not afraid. Let's just rest in that for a few moments. And now gently return, bringing that stillness with you. And let us really keep in mind, its being is our being. Its life is our life. The silent one is not only for meditation, cushions, or quiet mornings. It walks with you. It stands in line at the grocery store. It sits in difficult conversations. It lies awake with you at 3 a.m. It makes decisions through you. Every act can become an expression of that presence. You don't need a different life. You don't need a deeper center from which to live the life you already have. And the beautiful paradox is this: the more you trust it, the more obvious it becomes. The more you listen, the more it speaks without words. The more you rest in it, the less you need to force life. Yeah, it's always there. It's not earned. You don't need a different life. You need a deeper center. Each one of us is created in the image and of the likeness of the Creator. So what does that mean? That sure doesn't mean that it is, 5'2" with blue hair. Doesn't mean that. So what does it mean? To me, what it means is that I am made up of God stuff or spirit stuff or the universe, right? And if I'm made up of that stuff, that means I have within me all of the qualities of the divine. So the absolute is all powerful. I am powerful. It is omniscience. It is omnipresent, all-knowing, and everywhere present. And it's everywhere present. That means It's right here where I am. It's being me, and it's right there where you are being you. And the more you learn to trust the inner presence, the less you need to force it or force life. We are remarkable, dynamic beings, and we just need to believe that about ourselves. It's time to stop playing victim. A good friend of mine used to always say, there are no victims, there are only volunteers. So I suggest we volunteer for something different. Come volunteer at the New Thought Media Network. You could do that. You certainly could. Whatever it is you're seeking, know that it too is seeking you. It too is seeking you. And that might sound a little bit odd, but it's the truth. Energy is always moving, changing, but it never ends and it never began. It just always is. And because it always is, we are in a position to use that power and use it consciously to create something beautiful in our lives. And the way we do it is through our thinking. It's the only way. So instead of sitting back and, hoping somebody will come rescue you, that knight on the big white horse and, galloping in to save the fair maiden. Well, we don't need to be saved because we're not broken, we're not flawed, we're not less than. We're divine creative beings with the power within us that everyone has. Doesn't matter who you are, this power is within you. Now, here's how it works. The things that we think about, the things that we believe about life, those are the driving force for what draws into our experience life itself. So if we want to know where our belief system is, all we have to do is look at our life. If there's an area that is challenging you, I might suggest to you that you try something different. That everything that is being done in a way that keeps us playing small, but we could change that. We can change our thinking and expand our consciousness and begin to live in a whole new way. We can begin to stand tall and put our shoulders back and be proud of who we are. And when we get up in the morning and look in the mirror, we can go, wow, look what God created. Look what Spirit made. That's a miracle. We want to learn to trust that inner presence. Because the more we trust it, the less you need to force life. I mean, it makes sense, right? Like when you really think about it, if you trust what's going on, if you trust where you are in life, if you trust the journey that you're on, then amazingly, what happens is good starts to follow you. It starts to move in, it starts to expand, it starts to bring more into your awareness. And it's positive and it's productive and it's upbeat and it's fun. And it brings with it just beautiful, beautiful people as well. So everything about it is good and very good. So we need to open our hearts to have that experience. Because I think it's time. Well, on that note, we are at the halfway point of the show. And so we're going to take a brief, very brief little commercial break. And then we'll be right back with more of The Joy Show here on the New Thought Media Network. Be right back.
Please help us say thank you to all of our organizational sponsors, including the Hefferland Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Center for Spiritual Living United Life, Sunshine Cathedral, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Universal Joy Center, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center Ottawa, Home Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. On behalf of New Thought Media Network, thank you, and please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, come be you.
Yes, come be you. Because it's all you can be, really. I mean, have you ever thought about how many of us, I think especially when we're teenagers, although it can carry on, do you ever, go, oh, I wish I was like this person, or I wish I was as tall as them, or as short as that person, or, I wish I had, that figure, or that intelligence, or, oh, I wish I was a doctor, a lawyer. We do that sometimes, don't we? We do that because we have yet to figure out who we are. Now, here's what happens. We come into this life, and we come in as this little package, this little thing. We can't walk, we can't talk, we can't feed ourselves, we can't do anything. So we are these divine beings, but we come in this tiny little form. And we come to people who may or may not know what is best for that wee baby. A lot of the people that are having children are deciding, well, I think my child should be a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, a candlestick maker. I don't know if that would be any of them, but right, we as parents will look at our little child and go, maybe they have long fingers, and mom says, oh, there's a pianist if I ever saw one, or another kid has really broad shoulders, and go, yeah, Johnny's going to play football. We've got these stories. Or if we're from a country that is more impoverished, then we might be going, I want my son to be an engineer. I want my son to be a doctor. I want my son to have a future that maybe I don't feel that I have. And so I will give up a lot of things in order to fund the schooling so this child can have a better life than I did. And I think that happens quite a lot. But the thing is that each one of us is created unique and special. Now that uniqueness must be shared. It's up to us. It's up to us to, just take the time to be present with who we really are. Not who mom would want us to be, or our spouse, or our neighbor, or our friends. Oh, you'd be really good at this. Yeah, I might be, but it doesn't mean I like it. It doesn't mean I want to do it, right? So we want to find out what, kind of what makes us tick. What is our little something that no one else has got? Because remember, you are unrepeatable. Unrepeatable. Yeah. Who you are, as you are, right here, right now, you are created perfect, whole, and complete. In the image and of the likeness of the Creator. Well, what would life be like if you actually believed that? If you got up in the morning going, wow, now what? What is today going to bring? Another beautiful day in paradise? And one of the things that I've noticed often too is that some of the things that we dislike, like some of the things that we're not crazy about, are actually the things that set us apart from the crowd. Remember, I said we're all unique. So, of course, we're not going to blend in, but we try to, don't we? We want to start listening to that divine wisdom, opening up our hearts so that we can be fully present and allow ourselves to hear the guidance that's coming. Now, it doesn't do us any good to just hear it. We must hear it and act upon it. It's a tour. It's a two-step. Kind of like country dancing. Two-step. One is acknowledging, the other is doing. So I listen for that still small voice, and then I act upon what I hear. Call Mary. I pick up the phone and call Mary. Go visit so-and-so. I hop in the car and I go visit so-and-so. Write a story. Meditate. Pray. Do spiritual mind treatment. Whatever is coming up for us. I remember once, many years ago, while I was studying for ministry, actually, and I was driving from my home to go to a funeral in downtown Calgary. And I'm coming out of my neighborhood, and I get this turn on to Glenmore. And I'm like close to that corner, and I'm like, no, I'll just go down to 17th. And so I ignored that prompt. I went down to 17th, and just a few blocks from the center, I got into a car accident. Not a serious one, but enough to slow me down and make me late for the things that I was doing. The thing is, we sometimes don't listen. And the other thing is that we get all caught up in anxiety and worry and upset that we forget that we are powerful, that we're creative, that we're intelligent, and that we can move forward creating something really beautiful if we so choose. But what are the choices that we're making? See, sometimes we're making choices that don't even make sense. I mean, think about it. Oh, I wish I was 6 feet tall. Well, unless there's a rack out there somewhere that can stretch me, that's not going to happen. We need to become grateful for who we are, where we are, as we are. And then we have to become grateful to all the people around us who are being their unique self. Because we might not like that. We might want them to conform or to behave in a certain way so that we feel more comfortable. We do those things. We definitely do those things. So I ask you the question. Remember the question I asked at the beginning? No, you don't remember that one? The question is, when was the last time you listened to the quiet wisdom within you? Think about that. And think about it over the next week as to, what that is, or, why is it that we don't hear it? Like, what's going on that causes us to blank out and not hear? I can't even begin to tell you how many times someone has come to me saying, I don't know my purpose. Have you ever said that? I know I said that a long time ago. I said it a lot. I don't know my purpose. I don't know what I'm here for. I don't know why. What am I supposed to be doing? And when we think about what we're supposed to be doing, we often think it's about our career or our job. But no, it's about who we are being in the world, regardless of what we do. See, the doing is just sort of a fringe. It's the being that truly matters. And if I'm being honest with myself, then I do know who I am. Now, I might not be consciously aware of it in the moment, but our words have power. And we use our words to say, I don't know, I'm starving, I'm an idiot, I'm sick and tired. When we use the I am to declare our essence, what we're doing actually is putting giant roadblocks in front of us that are going to slow us down, crunch us up, create chaos and all kinds of, you know, crazy stuff in our lives that we don't necessarily want. So what we have to do is we have to surrender. Surrender, sit in the silence, go into meditation. And in meditation, it doesn't need to be some grand thing where you're, you know, going to turn around and listen to some great long visualization practice. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about silence. And that means sitting in a quiet corner of your home or your office or wherever you can find silence. And that's not to say that there can't be traffic outside or kids playing outside or whatever making noise. It's about in my space. I am alone. I don't have any distractions around me. I don't have any sounds around me. I am sitting in the silence and I'm observing me. I'm observing me. So how do we do that, and how do we make it easy? Sorry, I have an itchy eye. How do I make it easy? Well, it's super easy. Think about it. You sit in a chair and close your eyes or create a soft gaze, and you just sit there. 10 minutes, 20 minutes, half hour, maybe an hour, however long you choose to meditate, you just sit there. And when you notice that your mind is wandering off and doing something, you gently bring it back. And there's a number of ways to focus it. You can sit back and focus on your breathing. That's one of my favorites. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling. That's it. Now the thing is, when you start doing that and you're focusing on your breathing, you don't want to control it. Ugh, itch. You don't want to control your breathing. You simply want to observe your breathing. Okay, and as you observe it, and what you'll notice is that you'll sit down to do meditation and you'll follow your breath for 2 or 3 breaths, and then you'll be off doing whatever. Oh man, I think I forgot to call my boss this morning. Or, oh dear, I forgot to go to the grocery store and get milk. Oh, did I leave the iron on? Did I leave the oven on? This is what our mind does. Am I ready for that meeting? What did my boyfriend say to me yesterday? We get all these things running around in our mind. And that's natural. And when we notice it, so when you're sitting in the silence and all of a sudden you go, whoa, I'm off doing whatever, just go, okay, just come on back. Inhaling, exhaling. We come back to that gentleness, that tenderness, that quiet silence. We come back to the meditation. What I've known over the years, like when I first started meditating, what I realized was that as I would do my meditation, I found my days were far more productive. I got more done. I was able to concentrate easier. So by taking 20 minutes out of my day to meditate, I actually added about an hour to my day because of how quickly, easily, and quickly and easily, I guess are 2 good words to describe how I would manage to get through my day. Everything just seemed to fall into place. So the idea, because my excuse was I didn't have time to meditate. I was a single parent at the time, and when am I going to find time to meditate? I'm cooking and cleaning and doing laundry and having a job and like going to school, and how do you make it all work? Well, when I started meditating, my life worked way better than prior to meditation. So if you haven't tried it, try it. If you've tried it and said, oh, I can't do that, just know everybody has the capability to meditate. It's just, if you think you're going to blank out your mind completely the first time, yeah, that might be a little bit of wishful thinking. I mean, it could happen. It just doesn't happen for most of us. And even sometimes when we've been meditating for a long time, we'll have days where the mind just wants to wander. And it's okay. The purpose of meditation is to train the mind. And we train the mind so we can begin to create the life that we say we want to create. So this journey that we're on is a perfect one. It is a perfect one. So you don't need a different life. You need a deeper center. Yeah. Accept yourself as you are, where you are, right here, right now, and watch life begin to improve dramatically. See, the more you trust the inner presence, the less you need to force life. The more you trust the inner presence, the less you need to force life. See, it gets easier. So today, if you take nothing else with you, take this. You are not alone inside yourself. You are not alone inside yourself. There's a presence within you that cannot be broken, cannot be diminished, cannot be exhausted, cannot be defeated. It's not trying to become powerful. It already is. And it lives as you. I want you to just pause for a few seconds, and I want you to remember a couple of things. You don't have to manufacture guidance. You don't have to invent strength. And you most certainly do not have to earn peace. You only have to become quiet enough to notice what has always been there. It's always been there. Whatever we've needed, whatever's necessary, it's always been available. And here's the cool thing, that when I decide what it is I want out of life, or where I want to go, or I make a decision about something, then what happens is the universe rushes in with a very loud and excited yes. Yes. Never no, only yes. The universe only ever says yes to us. Doesn't matter what we're saying, what we're doing, yes is the answer. So you might look at me and go, well, if yes is the answer, how come my life looks the way it does? Because the question being answered with the yes, you're asking the wrong question. You're asking the wrong question. Ask a different question and watch the yes roll in. See, it's saying yes all the time. So if I sit back and go, oh, I'm such an idiot, the universe says yes. It doesn't say, no, you're not. You're really smart. It doesn't do that. We do that. People do that. The universe does not. God does not. The universe simply responds to whatever we give it with a resounding yes. Oh man, nothing ever works out for me. Yes. I am so unlucky. Yes. So we want to change that. We want to change the script. We want to start listening to that inner voice. We want to start following its guidance. We want to begin to really celebrate life in a new way. The thing is, you are not alone inside yourself. You are not alone inside yourself. You never have been. Never have been. There's just one you. And there will never be another one. Even if you have a twin. Even if you have a twin, that twin is not exactly the same. Twins are different. I have 2 sets of twins in my family, and they're very different. Very different. They might look alike, but they aren't alike. They too are unique, even though their bodies might look very similar. So when you're, doing what you do, and you're thinking about how do I begin again? What do I do now to create the life that I really want, rather than this one that isn't quite living up to my expectations? Well, we need to start by asking some questions. And these are ones that we can begin to just sort of observe and notice what happens. Like, when do you most easily feel inner stillness? When do you most easily feel inner stillness? It's a powerful feeling when it comes. What helps you reconnect when life feels noisy or overwhelming? What do you need to do, or where do you need to go, or who do you need to hang with? Right? What helps you reconnect with life? How about this one? Have you ever experienced a quiet inner knowing that guided you? I've had a few of those. And what does inner peace feel like in your body? Well, I can imagine. Calm, relaxed, comfortable, right? Yeah. Here's a couple more questions. What practices help you slow down enough to listen within? So, we already talked about meditation, but what about prayer or spiritual mind treatment? What about watching some kind of uplifting movie or attending a workshop? So what practices help you slow down enough so that you can listen? Where in your life could you benefit from trusting yourself more? That's a good question. Where in your life could you benefit? And you might come up with a list of things. Right from today onward, right? And what pulls you away from your inner center? So when you're really feeling calm and centered, and then the phone rings and it's somebody who needs you, or the, little kid comes running in the room, mommy, 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 I fell and got a bobo. Like, what are the things that distract you and pull you away from that center? Now, some of them cannot be avoided, right? Just the reality, right? If you have a small child, you have a small child. You have a 24/7 job. But if you have a small child, you can teach them these same things, and they get it earlier. So they don't have to find it out when they're adults. They can find it out while they're little enough to actually enjoy some of this stuff. The third set of questions: if you truly trusted the wisdom within you, what might change? Relationships? Work? Play? Think about that over the next week. Let that sit with you. If I trusted the wisdom within me, what might change? What decision are you facing right now that you could use quiet clarity for? And think about that. What is my biggest issue at the moment? And once you name that, then you can begin to do treatment around it where doors open up and everything that needs to happen happens. And, there's a beautiful move that is exquisite. Like everything is perfect. So life. Yeah, life. If you are interested in this teaching and more of what we do here at the New Thought Media Network, check out the programming. There is programming 7 days a week. There's prayer in the mornings. There's Sunday is full of Sunday messages from various ministers. There's shows on all week. There's New Thought Radio. You can listen to upbeat, powerful, positive music while you're doing other things. Just put the radio on in the background and listen in. It's fabulous. Karen Drucker and David Alt and Daniel Nahmod and it goes on and on and on because there's so many of them. Allow yourself to really immerse yourself in this spiritual practice, because as we immerse in it, we begin to learn things quicker. So think about the things that you can do and what you can bring, the way that you can show up, what you can do, and allow yourself to receive that blessing. Why not? If not you, who? Right? So ask yourself, before you go to sleep tonight, one more question. What does it mean to be me? What does it mean to be me? And please, put your thoughts, your words, your whatever the answers to these questions, put them in the comments. We'll check them out and just see how you're doing and where you're headed. Thank you for being here today. It's always such a pleasure on Friday afternoons to end out the work week with just some positive, loving, affirmative messaging. And this Joy Show is all about the fact that there's only one you. There's just one you. Share that with the world. Take your gifts and talents and spread them out. Let people see the wonder of you and all that you're doing and how you do it. Each one of us has so many gifts to bring, and yet we tend to not necessarily bring them. You notice that? That sometimes you, instead of bringing your gift to the world, you're hiding because somebody might not like you or somebody might not respect you. Where are you at? For real. For real and for true, where are you at? Go through the website for New Thought Media, ntmedia.org. Go through the website, check out the offerings. There's lots of them. Classes, workshops, interviews, all kinds of things that make life really worth living. Make it your home base for all things wonderful and good in our world. And then be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Share with your friends, your family. If something of value touched you today, then share with somebody else who can also benefit from it. And beyond that, just know that you are created unique and special, just like everyone else. And that does make you perfect, whole, and complete. In order to donate to the New Thought Media Network, you can do that through our website at ntmedia.org and just hit the donate link. And you can keep this beautiful station running beautifully. We are a not-for-profit, and so we appreciate all that you do, your time here, And any gifts you send us to financially support us, all of it is received with love and grace. Have a beautiful weekend. I love you. I bless you. And I'm grateful for you. See you soon. Bye for now.